he had point guard performances. Let's start off with Kingston Flemings. They won an ugly game against Cincinnati. He had 19 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals, 7 of 18 shooting from the field. Latif, your thoughts on Kingston Flemings? Is he still PG-1 on your board? Correct me if I'm wrong.
He is still PG-1. He's still PG-1 in this class for me. Same stuff. Just a straight line speed, consistent paint touch. Obviously not drawing fouls like you want him to, but I mean I think that's a Houston thing. None of their players draw fouls. He's still a really good playmaker. Doesn't really turn the ball over a lot. His poise for a freshman is just really good. He has that mid-range pull-up as well. Can't get all the way to the rim. He rises up, really good elevation on his jumper. The main thing with Kingston Flemings for me is going to be his 3-point rate. It's too low. For a 6'4" guard in the modern NBA, I think it's too low. But he is a true 6'4", I think. He's a lot bigger than a lot of other guards in his class. He needs to put on weight. But he was really good in his game, I think. I mean, the efficiency wasn't the best, but one thing I like about Kingston and what I look for in a lot of my prospects generally is that he protects the Houston's possessions and creates the best opportunities on Houston possessions, and he's taking away possessions from the other team. If you can do that, you're a possession maximizer, I'm going to like you as a prospect, and he does that. He has one of the highest steal rates in the country, especially for a guard. And I think the defense is legit. He has a clear recognition of defensive schemes, and he also just his effort is just really there on every single rep. So I'm still looking for like comps for him. I threw out John Wall there, but don't think he's as good east to west as John Wall was. Like, and that's another thing I'm looking for Kingston to really improve. Because I don't think his handle is really like
And
great.
he's
I think
just fast.
yeah, he just gets to the paint. Like he doesn't need to like create separation with like east to west. He just gets downhill. And ISO in pick and roll. He can do both. So I'm just seeing how he's going to be able to offset that with a 3-point shot. But he is point guard 1 in his class. I have him as a top 6 pick, I think, in his class. And we're going to talk about more point guards in his class. But so far, maybe I need to do more work. But it's been very, very hard to decipher the order of these point guards and try
Got
to
something for
evaluate.
you, Latif. I got
What's
something
up?
for you. All right. Hey, let's do this. Let's pause here. We'll just we'll make this a point guard discussion instead of going 1 through 1. So I talked about Kingston Flemings. Darius Acuff had 29, 3 and 4. He's at 50, 45, 75 splits on the season. That 29 points came in the win over Tennessee. Christian Anderson had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists against Oklahoma State. Kel Brown Jr. did not play. Again, he is out, I believe, with a back injury. I don't have Tyler Tanner on here. If Tyler Tanner were 6'2", he'd probably be a top 15 pick, but he's on the smaller side. But I got some numbers for you, Latif. Some numbers for you, Leif, because the point guard position, like you said, you look at it every day and it's like, I like him. I might like him more. And it's kind of like how it's splitting hairs. If you type in Darius Acuff's name on Twitter, if you don't have Darius Acuff 15 or higher, the Arkansas fans are coming for you because
Yep.
his points, rebounds, and assist numbers are great. But I'm digging in because this draft is crazy. Synergy, they did some funny stuff with their stats, so you got to dig a little deeper. It's at the rim in the half court. They changed it to points per chance instead of percentage. Kingston Flemings, 1.56 points per chance in the half court at the rim. Darius Acuff, 1.31. Christian Anderson, 1.64. Kel Brown, 1.75. Didn't mention LeBaron Philon, 1.74. Tyler Tanner is at 1.62. So, as far as Darius Acuff goes, the shooting is really, really good. The passing is good. I don't necessarily think he's a super dynamic playmaker. I would put him behind Christian Anderson. I would put him behind Michael Brown. I think he's at the same level of a Kingston Flemings as far as play, just passing vision types of passes. But he is the one who has the lowest rim, I think, attempt percentage and also efficiency. So that is where he is there. I don't know how you guys feel about Tyler Tanner. For the listeners who maybe aren't aware, Tyler Tanner is a 6 foot, 165-pound guard from Vanderbilt. He has, I think, 14 dunks on the season. He can make every pass. He's lightning quick. He reminds me a lot of like Ty Lawson. But today's NBA, 6 foot point guards, there are only a handful of them. So to round that out, Leif, your thoughts on this point guard class? You can name any guy who you want. Your thoughts on the point guard class. Latif, also your thoughts on the point guard class. Go ahead, Leif.
Bennett Sturts is still here, by the way, James. I don't know why. I don't know what that was about, but Bennett
I
Sturts is
mean,
still
I'm
here.
not. Here's my thing with Bennett Sturts. I think Bennett Sturts is a top 25 pick. I think Bennett Sturts is Ty Jerome. I mentioned this before. I think Bennett Sturts plays a long time.
Wait a minute, that's my guy. I've been saying Sturts is Ty Jerome since I saw him at Drake. I'm right there with you, but that's my favorite player.
And
I love Ty Jerome.
I don't dislike Bennett Sturts. I just don't think he can get to the rim. I don't think
agree
he can get
with
by
you.
anybody.
I'm right there with you, but I don't want that seen as a negative. Ty Jerome's a baller.
He's a very dynamic shooter. But like even that game against UCLA, he got smoking hot from three, couldn't go by anybody, and he had to play off the ball a lot too. So it's like, this is not Bennett Sturts is a first round pick. I just don't think he is better than the majority of the guys that I named. No disrespect. I think he's a top 25 guy. And like I said, I don't know who he's going to guard. And he's the worst athlete of those guys. So if he struggles on defense, can't really get by anybody, and is going to have to rely on a very good jump shot off the dribble, which he does have, I'm a little lower on him. But Leif, your point guard talk, you're up.
I'm right there with you on Bennett Sturts. I love the way he plays. He, in a very strange world, I wish I were 6'5" and I would play very similar to that. So I love him, but I'm with you. I think he is the worst of these bunch. I'm gonna go. So I'll say two things, and then I'll try to rank mine. I'm not by no means wed to my rankings of these guys right now, but I'll make a point that I think is being overlooked. So my first take in this would be that I think Michael Brown's still the best point guard. I don't think anything's changed other than that he's been hurt. Like Michael Brown, you talk about how fast Flemings is. He's really fast. No slight there. Michael Brown's got the threat to shoot from 30 feet. I know he's shooting like a pretty meager number right now, but like it's because he can shoot from so far. He's picked up super far, drives right by everyone, and he's learning how to be this long, athletic dude after being a small guy his whole life. Like I think there's some untapped potential as a finisher, and his shooting is going to come around. And I think he's a better natural passer than both Acuff and Flemings. I think Sturts is a better passer, and actually, I'd take Michael over Christian Anderson as a passer too. So I think the only actual passer better is Sturts, but he doesn't have the ability to draw players, the gravity. Like the guy who's the best at the gravity is like Ja Morant, right? He gets downhill and he's so fast, he gets into the paint, elevates and hangs in the air, and all of a sudden sees everything. Like Sturts has none of that. He's a great passer, but Michael Brown's the one who has the mix of I can see the whole court, I'm processing, I can really score, and I've got some of that explosiveness. He's not as fast as Flemings, but I think he's a better shooter, and I think he's a better processor at this point. So I would take him first. As for Acuff, I go back and forth. I think Flemings is a two guard. Like, am I crazy? Like, I still kind of see him as a two, but as an undersized two. And the reason I don't think he passes naturally. Like he gets into spots and scores, and he's able to use his speed and elevate. He's very good at stopping on a dime and elevating to score, and he's very good at getting downhill. He also plays with very physical bigs that set good screens. And so he's able to run downhill, and he's able to create space by himself with his speed, and he's shooting it pretty well, but I have some questions about his release. I think his release is a little janky. And then the question would be, how well does he play when his speed is less of a differentiator? When he plays against guys who can stay in front of him better, he's still going to get by people, but when he plays against guys that stay in front of him better, how much is he able to run an offense? And as for Acuff, he's not putting pressure on the rim. And so your stat saying, I think you said 1.31 for him as opposed to most of the other guys 1.6. 1.31 doesn't scare me terribly because I don't think he's getting to the rim as much because he's asked to do a ton more. What Acuff does is different than what Flemings does. Has a guy like Uzan who runs the actual point guard for Houston. Flemings is, Acuff is asked to score 20 or more and be the pick and roll operator, be the isolation creator, and drive and dish for a team that's full of uber athletic guys who aren't particularly gifted shooters. And I think that there's a difference in terms of the responsibility. And I think that he's not a great passer either in the case of Acuff, but he's more in tune with being the guy and being the point guard than Flemings is, where I think Flemings is more of a opportunistic scorer who uses his athleticism to pass. So I'm not all the way sold that Acuff's a better prospect because I think the athleticism upside of Flemings does help him. But I think that there's a kind of a misnomer about these two guys. Like Acuff to me, despite being a worse finisher, but like I think he's a better scorer and I think he's a better passer. And usually if I'm watching my eyes there, I'd take that guy.
Where does LeBaron Philon fit in that conversation between Flemings, Acuff, Michael Brown? Where's he at?
I'd put him fourth. I just don't think he's as naturally gifted in terms of scoring the basketball. Like I think he's a shooter by the trade of people are scared of his speed, and he's shooting a very good percentage right now. My eyes tell me he's not the best shooter though. Like we watched him last year play off ball, and the numbers weren't as good from three. And I think right now he's a rhythm player, and if he's not given that like green light to be the top dude, I question how good he is at orchestrating the offense. And I think Christian Anderson's awesome. I'm pretty sure you and Raphael heard me talk about Christian Anderson the summer of 2024. I watched him play for Germany. I was like, what in the world? This guy's playing college ball. He's going to be an All-American. And then this year, everyone was talking about, okay, here are the potential all-conference guys. And it's like, oh, let's take Donovan Dent. Like, what's Donovan Dent better at than Christian Anderson? Like, what's Bennett Sturtz better at than Christian Anderson? And all these guys who are picked as All-Americans over him. So I tweeted out my All-Americans. I love Christian Anderson. The dude can score. The question for him is, how well can he balance being a point guard and a shooting guard? And to me, I think he is a blooming and a blossoming point guard that is really a shooting guard that's 6'1". And so he's lower too. Like I think Acuff is a more natural creator than Flemings, than Philon, and then Anderson. But Anderson's my favorite of the bunch to watch.
I think Anderson is a better passer, reads the floor, decision maker than basically all of them. I think Michael Brown, Christian Anderson, and since Latif called me out, and Sturtz are the best three passers. Again, types of passes. Pocket passes, skip pass, overhead pass, not just looking at raw assist numbers. I think Philon is a good passer, but at the same time, he's not the level of playmaker of those guys. I think Kingston Flemings is a Tyrese Maxey passer, where I can't stay in front of him, and because I can't stay in front of him, he's gonna wreck my defense, and then he's gonna find guys. There's still value in that, but again, when teams are gonna blitz his pick and rolls, and those guys are a little bit faster at the NBA level, what does it look like for him? Again, at the same time, Houston doesn't run a lot of pick and roll, so we never seen him throw a pocket pass. So it's just there are so many different types of point guards in this draft. You got to go through this point guard class with like a fine-tooth comb. Latif, you're on the clock. Your point guard evaluation.
So I think that the real difference between Acuff and Flemings for me is I think Flemings is more malleable as a prospect. We got to talk about the defense end. We haven't talked about a lot of these point guards. And I think that Flemings is meaningfully better on that end.
He's the best defender.
I agree.
Of all of them.
No argument there.
So in terms of for Darius Acuff, the problem with him for me, and I'm still trying to figure out where I have him. It's actually been making my head hurt. Been trying to make a board, and I don't know what I need to do.
It's tough, man, because like you look at him, I think I have him at like 15, right? And I'm like, is that too high? So then if I move him to 19, I'm like, is that too low? And it's just kind of like it's so tough because it's a thick point guard class, and there's go ahead.
Is that for Acuff?
Yes. I have him behind Phylon. I think Phylon is a lottery pick, but I don't think there's like a huge. It's literally going to come down. I don't want like ACUF supporters, Arkansas supporters when these mocks come out. I think a lot of it just is going to come down to like team needs. You know what I'm saying? If he goes 18 and it's a team that needs him, that's the best spot versus him going to 10 and he has to battle for like point guard minutes. Go ahead, Latif. I'm sorry.
With Acuff, and then I'll get to all of the guards. It's for me, it's like you talk about the points per shot. Before this show, I was actually looking at because for some reason I think Synergy has took away the the half court filter. I don't know why they did that.
Bring that back, man.
But
Bring that back.
I hand counted it, and I think he only has like 19 attempts in the half court at the rim. That could be a little bit off, but he's shooting 47.2% from two in the half court. He's not really getting to the rim that much, nor finishing that well inside the arc in the half court. He's been really, really good in transition. As Arkansas as a whole has been really, really good in transition. The 3-point shot, it was not as good in high school. So he could have improved, but to this extent, I don't think so. I think he has been a good passer, a good playmaker. He has been very, very impressive from a face value standpoint, and that's why Arkansas fans are so mad, and that's why people are pushing him PG1. You look at his points, rebounds, and assists, and it looks beautiful, but the threshold for a point guard in the NBA, a star one, is so very high. The position is so saturated. It's so much talent at the position.
Teams are trying to get rid of Trae Young.
Yes.
Teams might be getting rid of, oh, that might be, but there's rumors of LaMelo Ball. Like, John Morant lost a step. I've watched some Grizzlies games, and he hasn't really, I'm sorry to cut you off, but he hasn't really climbed maybe like you wanted him to. But that dude is a gifted passer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
The shooting just never progressed for him, but like you want to talk about left hand bullet passes, skip passes. He can make he's like we see the 42-inch vertical, like he's a legit point guard, and it's like we don't know what the point guard position is anymore because like Darius Garland is on the market. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Latif.
Yeah, the point guard position is so talented and so saturated in the NBA. The bar is even higher now. And we're talking about a guard at 6'2", maybe. So like the bar for smaller guards is even higher. So I think his defense is pretty bad. I do think so.
Yeah, I agree.
I think his defense is pretty bad. That's a really big thing for me in my evaluation. He's not getting to the rim or finishing inside the arc particularly well right now, especially against high competition. So those are concerns for me. I want to see what he is like when the ball isn't going in, what value he provides to a team. So my mind wants to tell me, oh, A-Cup should be a lottery pick because how he's producing right now. But the underlying layers of he's not getting to the rim that much. His defense is not good. That scares me. Now let's move to Christian Anderson. Christian Anderson has been amazing. He's been one of the best point guards in the country. I think he's leading the country right now in points created from his scoring and playmaking balance. He is. I think he's a point guard. I think he reads the floor really well. I think he can make a lot of passes. I think he's really good at pick and roll, especially with JT Toppin. He's an electric nuclear shooter. I don't think he can create advantages.
You see, I think he can though. So even that last game against Oklahoma State, like he's just so smart. Where it's like I can't get all the way to the basket. I'm gonna shoot this turnaround jumper now. Maybe the advantages don't. Maybe he can't create advantages outside of pick and roll. Maybe that's what. Am I?
No, he can't. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yes, and we talk about a lot of things about like Sturts. I think that Christian Anderson is not a good athlete. I think that he and the NBA is really pick and roll heavy, so that it doesn't matter too much. But I think if a defense is switching on him, he's not going to be able to just blow past the center or just blow past the switch. He doesn't have that dynamicism with his handle, and he's also not like very quick in terms of like just exploding to the rim. I think he's gonna have some rim finishing struggles. He's also very, very skinny. He's also about 6'1", 6'2".
They said
So
he's 6'3". That's what Texas Tech said.
I don't know.
His dad is
So
6'5". He might be 6'3".
He's
I
an
see Christian
undersized two
Anderson.
guard. I'm buying this. I'm with you, Latif, on this. I think he's undersized too. And I think the difference between he and some of these other guys in terms of passing and why he looks better at passing is one, he has an All-American at that's setting him the screens,
That is
and
true.
two, he's played professional basketball in Germany. He's played on the Olympic team and the professional team in Germany, and he's got more polish. These other guys are young and they're raw in their reads. He's better at reading it. I don't think he's a better like natural playmaker. And
So it
I
looks
love
like
Christian
the
Anderson.
hangup is on Christian Anderson because I think we have 3 different evaluations of Christian Anderson. Leif thinks he's a 2. Latif thinks that he's not a good athlete. He can't go by anybody. I don't think it's to that extreme. I just feel like
It's not as
his
bad as Sturts. It's not as bad as Sturts,
no,
but
I don't think Sturts can go by anybody, and that's not a slight to Sturts. Like I said, I think Sturts is a 2 contract minimum guy, like not minimum contract, but he's gonna play 2 contracts. He's a pro. He just shoots the ball so well. I don't think he's not a franchise level point guard where some people had him going into this draft class. But like Christian Anderson though, I just feel like and maybe it's because everything is ran through him, but his command of the offense I think is great. He's got deep range off the dribble. You can't play drop against him, and I think
yeah.
he's a really good passer. And I think he's crafty enough to make up for athleticism concerns. I have him ahead of Acuff right now, but like the
I would also
margins
probably
are extremely
I
thin.
also I also probably would have him ahead of Acuff, to be honest. Um,
I got Acuff at my point guard 3, and that's because I have the best point guards by the name of Darren Peterson.
yeah, I think Darren is a combo.
I think he's a combo.
But I so in terms, okay, so we talked about Anderson. It's gonna be very hard to rank these guys. I'll spare y'all the search thing. Y'all you can have that for right now.
I mean,
But
if
uh,
you want to continue to make a case,
no,
I
I
mean, like
mean,
I said, if you just box score watch a Bennett Sturts, and you should watch the games, but if you just box score watch, all of his field goals are 3-pointers. When he gets
no,
chased
he
off the
doesn't.
line, this has Bennett Sturts. He chases him off the line, he can't jump over a sheet of paper, and like his handles are to get a deep pull up 3. And those things scare me as a starting point guard, but as a rotation guard, I have no issue with him because he does play well off the ball. He's one of the better shooters in the draft. I think you can run action for him because he's a very good passer. I'm just not handing him the keys to my NBA team.
With Sturts, I mean, and I checked the stats yesterday. Before the UCLA game, he was 3 for 9 from 2 against top 100 opponents. In like
You
5
he
games.
took 9 attempts, or is that on average?
No, 9 attempts against top 100 opponents
Okay.
at the rim. And that's top 100 is really what I want to look at for these players because the
Yes.
non-conference schedule, they play a lot of bad teams. He as against competition, he hasn't been able to get to the rim really whatsoever. His 2-point scoring hasn't been good whatsoever. 3-point shot has looked really good, but I'm a skirt past Sturts. With Mikael Brown, and why I don't have him at number 1 right now is because the reason why I think he's shooting so bad from 3 right now, is because his shot selection has been very poor from 3.
I agree.
I think he has forced a ton of shots, um, and it's kind of been like the influx of what his evaluation for me was pre NCAA. I thought he struggled at the rim, um, in high school, which he did. Even in his senior season, he struggled at the rim. He struggled from 2-point range. He struggled to draw fouls. He struggled to get downhill in high school.
He's the
Um,
exact opposite now.
and it's been the opposite in college. He's actually got to the foul line really well. He's actually got to the rim really well, but his shot selection has been poor. He hasn't been knocking down threes. I do think his 3-point shot will positively regress to the mean. But I can say the same thing for his driving because I don't think his driving is as good as it's been. Like I think it will regress a little bit. What I think last time I checked, he was shooting like 70% at the rim against top 100 opponents. I'm not expecting that to continue. But I do think um his 3-point shot will regress positively. So I understand with Leif the sale because he probably offers the best balance of 3-point shooting and driving
And
in his class.
size,
Yeah, from a
offensive
point guard,
size. Yes.
he probably presents the best driving. Well, if the driving maintains a little bit to where it has been right now, he will possess one of the best driving 3-point balances in his class. And he has like a 53-point rate. I actually like love that from guards. The high 3-point rate guards. My concerns with him is pretty much going to be defense because I think it's very poor. But um driving and shooting, that balance, he has that. LeBaron, I have him right now at 9 or 10 in my lottery. And you talked about Leaf, you talked about his ability to play off the ball. I think the reason I'm so high on LeBaron right now is because through 2 seasons or a season and a half so far at Alabama, I think he's shown the ability to be scalable, to operate in a secondary ball handler role, but also toggle on ball and show this high usage version of himself. I think he's drastically improved as a 3-point shooter. His volume went up and his percentages went up. Maybe he doesn't stay this high. He shot over 6 from 3 in his first game against Kentucky. But I think what LeBaron is going to provide to NBA team is the ability to toggle on and off the ball. You need multiple ball handlers in the NBA from your guard spots. He's going to be able to run offense. He's also going to be able to just be a secondary ball handler to a team. And then when he's in a secondary ball handler role, that's when you see his defensive impact at the point of attack go up. Because it's definitely regressed so far this season because he's been in a more higher usage role. But he doesn't turn the ball over. His steal percentage is still pretty good. The 3-point shot has improved. His finishing has improved. The foul drawing is still not the foul drawing is still not there, but the vision kind of is like Andrew Nembhard, but better offensively.
I don't know. Nemhard can see the floor, man.
The vision for me is like Andrew Nembhard, but better offensively, worse defensively. Don't think he's gonna be an impact as a defender as Andrew Nembhard, but I think he's gonna be competitive. As a ball screen defender, as a point of attack defender, I think he's gonna be a secondary ball handler, and he can run bench lineups and stuff like that. Is what
I see what you're saying. Sorry. I thought you meant like his vision was like Andrew Nemhard's. I'm with you now. I'm with you. My apologies.
No. I think that he's gonna be maximized. Like if he goes to let's say he slips in the draft, if he goes to like the Timberwolves, I really love that.
That's a great spot for him.
Anthony Edwards, like if he goes to with a guard like Anthony Edwards, that's with a guard like Devin Booker. Those spots for him is where I think he can be maximized as a player. And maybe he won't get picked top 10, but we look back in a few years and he's returning top 10 value, and I think that's possible for him. So that's good. That's where I'm at on all these point guards, pretty much.
Can I ask a question just about philosophy? Because James knows me pretty well on these. Like when I look at the point guards, and especially at the top 5, but in this year's class, like I can go to like 8 in the draft, not just point guards, but like the top 8. You're looking for an all-star this year. You're looking for an all-NBA type of guy. So to me, I don't see that level of impact from anyone other than Michael Brown, excluding Darren Peterson, who I think is a point guard. But Darren Peterson, Michael Brown, and then like Fleming's, I don't know if I see this like all-star guard. I think he can be a spark plug. I think, maybe I'm underselling his ability to pass the ball. But if he's a 2, like I see him as, he's got to be, Tyrese Maxey. And Tyrese Maxey
is an unbelievable scorer.
Yeah, but I don't think he's got the levels of scoring that Tyrese Maxey has. And I loved Maxey out of college. And Maxey somehow fell to 21st in the draft, I believe. Then you get to Acuff. And the reason that I'm a little higher on Acuff than you guys, and I see the concerns, and I listen to a lot of these college basketball shows that are like college basketball, no draft stuff, but it's all about like, oh, he plays this AAU style. The thing is, the guys that we're talking about, like how many point guards in the NBA right now are actually good defenders? So while I like well-rounded prospects, but there's not that many good point guard defenders because what's really in vogue right now is size and switchability. And so many of these guys are too small. Like Christian Anderson's too small to be a good defender at the NBA level. And I'm not calling out Christian Anderson just in particular. I don't think Acuff's ever going to be a good defender at the NBA, but there is a possibility he can put up 20 and 7. And if that possibility of 20 and 7 happens, I'll take that upside over the surefire Phylon being a solid defender with potentially if he jump shot and playmaking skills. Like Phylon's a really good athlete, good finisher. I like the way he plays. I think he brings a competitive fire, but I don't see the upside of a guy like Acuff. So I think those are the best two players in the SEC, and then my boy Thomas Houck. But those are the best two. Those are the best two players in the SEC. But Acuff's the one with potential to be, I won't say a franchise-altering talent, but I think he can be an all-star. And I don't see that for some of these other guys with a normal pathway and growth of their careers.
Interesting. Go ahead, Latif. I'm sorry.
In terms of philosophy, right? I think there've been a few studies on this in terms of the draft, and I'll shout out one of my mutuals on Twitter. His name is Craig's NBA, and I reference his post a lot. You look at how many all-stars impact players are in a given draft, it's not a lot whatsoever. It's very, very low. So I think times we can draft looking for for that swing, and we can draft looking to find an all-star at pick 8, pick 9, which it is possible. But I'm looking for like value towards winning and how many things you can provide towards winning a basketball game. And I think there is a possibility that Darius Acuff is a good enough scorer and a good enough passer to give you 20 and 7. But will it be how impactful will that 20 and 7 be? And that's why we're looking at someone like Trey Young, who is a very, very, very good offensive player.
28 and 10.
Yes, and he's getting traded for a reason. Because he's a terrible defender. Because wow, like he's so bad of a defender to the point where it makes him almost a net neutral. Like literally, like he's one of the worst defenders in the league, and he's not really good for your offense, but he's dragging your defense down so much that he's a net neutral. That's why the Hawks are winning games right now without him on a consistent basis right now. So these guards, while they can put up really good numbers in the NBA, where it's like points, rebounds, and assists, how impactful is that going to be in terms of winning a game right now? Because, for example, you think that Trey Young, the mind would think that Trey Young is a better player than Derek White. If I'm trying to win a championship on most teams, I'm probably taking Derek White because Trey Young is just an awful defender. At this point in his career, he's not an efficient scorer. And I don't want to harp on Trey Young. This is not a Trey Young segment, but I think that players, even though they're not giving you 20 and 10 on a night-to-night basis, can be more impactful than these guys that have high usage, masquerading as primary options on the NBA team. I do think there are role players in the NBA that are more impactful than stars and towards winning the championship. I do think so.
I agree with that. I think Trey Young's defense is not good, but he's only good. There's only so much he can do at 6 foot 165. I think his biggest issue is the efficiency and shot selection. And it's almost like the same thing with John Morant. Like those guys are volume scorers who kind of peaked as shooters, and so it kind of like you said, no, they're not ever going to be great defenders, but like they just because they're not efficient to the level of their usage, it almost like it just drains their value. And then you're even kind of seeing the same thing with LaMelo. But go ahead, Latif.
So like with someone like John Morant and someone like Trey Young, and with these guard prospects, do we think Darius Acuff can play off the ball?
I think if in a catch and shoot role, if he's playing, let's say Minnesota, for example, playing next to Anthony Edwards, if Anthony Edwards is your primary and he's handling and he does decide to kick to open teammates, if Darius Acuff's shooting is the middle of where he is now versus he is in high school, and he's a 38% 3-point shooter in the NBA, then I think that works for him. I'm buying him as a shooter, not necessarily buying him as a lead guard in the NBA because of the athleticism concerns and the ability to consistently turn the corner.
That's my thing. Like we're looking for some of these star guard prospects. A lot of them are going to command high usage on the ball. If they can't play off the ball, that really hurts your offense. And I think that's the issue with like Ja Morant and Trae Young. Those guys can't not play off the ball. So the offense has to go through them at all times, most of the time. And that's not how you maximize a team towards winning a championship. Even with Luka Doncic at this point in his career, right? He's a Trae, Ja, Luka, really good floor raisers. They can really uplift the offense with less talented players. But the more talented players, they need the ball more. They need to be more involved in the offense. Like when you building a team around these players. So I think those players are not conducive at the highest level towards winning the championship. If you're not able to play off ball, if you're not able to defend, and that's why I have questions about someone like Darius Acup. Can you play off the ball? Can you defend? I actually think Mikael Brown is actually Mikael Brown can play on and off the ball. He's shown that ability at this point in his career. So what I'm looking for in prospects most is like scalability, malleability, like how much value to provide, even if you're a point guard. Because if you're you have to be really, really good offensively to command high usage and to be beneficial towards like winning a championship at the highest level. That's what I pretty much think. And it's harder to explain in this time frame, but that's why I have someone like Kingston Flemings higher than Darius Acup, because I think so much value in not being able to like not be a negative on defense. I really do think
I agree.
It's a lot of value.
And I mean, if you run nobody can stand for like Kingston Flemings, but like he was blowing by Darius Acuff. And that's again not necessarily an indictment on Acuff.
There's Acuff gave him some buckets too though.
Yeah, he's getting his buckets for sure, but it was a lot of straight line drives. So the last two prospects, and it's kind of perfect to talk about these two together. Nate Ament, Tennessee, he had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 of 9 shooting, 5 of 11 from the free throw line. He took 2 shots in the first half. I hope that wasn't AI, but it looked like Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas had some words for him post game.
Oh, that was real.
That was real. Okay, wow.
Yeah, it was Trayvon Brazil.
I'm sorry, my fault, Malik Thomas. I mean to put that dirt on your name. That's crazy that they publicly don't respect you like that. And then the other prospect I wanted to talk about, Illinois' Keaton Wagler, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in 20 minutes. So I guess I'll go first, right? And I kind of got a hot take. I don't actually think it's a hot take, but these two guys this time 6 months ago were like in completely different directions of where they are right now. I don't think Nate Ament has any confidence right now. He took 2 shots against Arkansas. He missed 6 free throws. He's been passing up open threes. A hot take is I think Nate Ament needs to go back to school. I don't even know if that's a hot take. I don't think he's a top. Go ahead.
That should be
I'd be stunned if he does.
Here's my thing, Leif. I think that if you're not a top 20 pick, you are flirting with not guaranteed money. If Nate Ament continues on this path where you're shooting sub 37% from the field, sub 30% from the 3, I mentioned before, Darren Peterson has more blocks than you, and he's played like 100 minutes. You don't play defense. You can't shoot right now. You can't beat anybody off the dribble. And you're lacking confidence. I don't think a second year of school is a bad thing for you because you're not losing any money. And maybe the portal isn't a bad thing for Nate Ament because like he's really, really struggling. And for somebody who came in with top 5 buzz, he is arguably, I mean, at this point, you're just basing it off of what you think he can become versus a Keaton Wagler who, we talked about him, Latif, via text, like he's getting better. I think he can legit pass. I think he has enough juice off the dribble to create for himself, and I think he can really, really shoot the ball. Now, he needs to put on some weight. because he's still skinny, and the defense needs to probably improve. But all of these guys for the most part have defensive, warts. But I think Keaton Wagler, I think I got him at 10 right now, and Latif looked up.
I'm there.
Plus size. We got plus shooting. He's going to rebound. I think he might be a top 10 pick. Now, 10, 15, we'll see how it goes, but it's kind of hard to argue with a guy that's shooting the ball so well that can also pass. So look, if you're listening to this, Leif is smiling right now. Latif looked at me like I just cussed at him. I'm gonna go with Leif first. Go ahead,
Okay.
Leif. What did you want to say?
So what's great about this is not everyone knows how it goes, and not all three of us know exactly what the other person's takes are because we haven't interacted much. Like I've looked at Latif's tweets and we maybe briefly interacted. James and I don't text that often, but we often have the same takes. But I specifically texted him. One of the guys that I need to talk about is Wagler. The dude's a beast. I have a buddy who's a Jazz fan, and we text about guys that we like for the Jazz specifically. And I go, well, I don't know if I want him at 1 through 5 or 1 through 8, but my favorite player in the class is Keaton Wagler. Like he's my this year version of Thomas Houck. Like I every game I've watched Illinois, I've watched them play 7 or 8 full games, and I'm not going through clips of just when he's in. I watched their whole game, and all I say to myself the whole time is, they're way better when Wagler's got the ball. They're way better when Wagler's
closes the game. Like he's their
the
lead
best
ball
player
maker.
in any given thing. Like, yeah, they brought in all these European guys, and that's the name of the game. And then the guy who has the ball the most is Boswell. He's their best isolation scorer. He's their best catch and shoot shooter. He's arguably, I'm not going to say he's their best rebounder because Mitrovic can really board, but he's their best pound for pound rebounder, and he guards the ball well, and he's thin. So he's a guy I adore. And the funniest part is we did our first pod this year and we hadn't talked about it. I don't like Ament at all. I didn't like him last year as a guy from the high school ranks. Like, why was he number 4? I asked that question. Not everyone's Kevin Durant that's tall and slender. Like I said that so many times. Like the best one's been Brandon Ingram. And this guy, Brandon Ingram, was a problem in college. He'd get straight buckets. In the NBA, he had a 50 piece. Like, I don't see any wiggle from Ament. Everyone talks about, oh man, he's got this long stride, he's going to shake you out of your boots and shoot the heck out of the ball. He's 0 for 3 in that, and he doesn't rebound. He doesn't play defense. So I am firmly on Wagler over Ament. I guarantee you, Ament stays in the draft though.
Think so?
He's going to be a lottery pick just off the name and talent alone. He's going to get advice to say go to the draft. And you know who he reminds me of? I said this last time. He reminds me of Cody Williams. It's a totally different pedigree, though. It's a totally different. Like he's groomed to say he can score, right? Cody, I feel like the whole thing about him was he's a Swiss Army knife that then when he was a top 10 pick was told, oh, you have to score. And Cody's blossoming. I'm biased. I'm a Jazz fan, but like he's a really good defender, point of attack defender. I don't think Ament will ever be that. Ament may well be a better shooter and scorer down the road, but he's not going to warrant and necessitate a top 5 pick like everyone's draft stock says just because he's tall, slender, and has the potential to shoot the ball. So I give me Wagler all day.
Go ahead, Latif.
Now, I will say I definitely watched you guys' pod when you talked about the Ament the last time. And I disagree in terms of I had him top 5 at one point. I did move him down before the season started. I never thought he was Kevin Durant. However, I did think that he can provide value as a really good 3-point shooter and a good defender as well. Now, in terms of when I say really good 3-point shooter, I think that was like more so towards the end of his high school career. I think he shot around 38% throughout his high school career on about a 38 3-point attempt rate. He wasn't shy about shooting from really deep as well. That last AAU session was really good. His senior season was really good. I didn't see much on-ball potential at all. Pretty much none, because didn't think he had the athleticism or the speed or the wiggle or the handle or the strength to be on ball. However, I did think he could be a really good off-ball player. I thought he had the potential to attack a closeout. Defensively, I think in high school he covered a lot of ground. Defensively, he had some really good reps on the perimeter. They played Prolific Prep and beat Prolific Prep, and he guarded Darren Peterson down the stretch of that game. And played really good defense on him in that game. So honestly, I thought the defense would be much better going into Tennessee. I thought the 3-point shot would be much better than what it's been at Tennessee. I never thought he was going to be on ball. I think they've been early in the season they were utilizing him in the wrong way, giving him way too many on ball reps, and because he can't create separation whatsoever. He's
He
not an
couldn't
on ball.
create separation against Mercer. No
Yeah, he's
disrespect to Mercer. Like the low majors, like it was a struggle, and he was really getting bailed out by like a Hall of Fame whistle against those smaller schools. Go ahead, Latif.
He wasn't able to create separation in high school. It's not something he's ever been able to do. So I never knew why people were expecting that from him. I thought this is an off ball weapon that can be a good defender, and that in a lot of classes, that skill set, if you can actually do it, is a top 10 pick. It really is. Again, there's not a lot of stars. Like there may be like 3 or 4 stars, and you got the high impact role players in drafts. Right now though, as we stand, he should come back for 2027. There's no way he should be
Stay at
going to.
Tennessee. I'm sorry, I don't mean to force
No,
somebody out the portal, but stay at
no,
Tennessee.
I don't think Rick Barnes has used him correctly. I don't think the SEC is a league for him, unless he puts on a lot of weight. I thought the SEC would be too tough for him, to be honest. And maybe that's not something you should be saying about an NBA player, but
Well, here's my thing, right? Like, I think it's a major. I don't necessarily think the weight thing is that big of a deal because I don't think he has the juice to put the ball on the ground like that, right? And you do need strength, but a lot of the strength that he needs, he doesn't have the game to go for that strength to work, to matter. So I don't think it's my biggest red flag with him is that he does not look confident. You take 2 shots in the game, and I didn't get to watch the game. I was box score watching. I was at the North Carolina game. But you take 2 shots against a ranked team in the first half. I've seen several occasions over, was it Thanksgiving or was it Christmas break? He's passing up wide open, catch and shoot threes. Him not having confidence is a huge red flag to me. I don't necessarily think he should leave the SEC because you got the physicality. You got to face it at some point. If I were him, I'm going to Alabama and I'm playing under Nate Oates, and Nate Oates is going to use me correctly because Nate Oates probably runs some of the best, or at least the most pro style offense in college basketball. But the way that he's trending, it doesn't make financial sense for him to stay in the draft. Unless there's some team that he can trick. I hate to say it like that. Go ahead, Latif.
I still think he'll go in the lottery. I'm willing to put a friendly bet on this one with you.
No, I don't think he's a 2027. I don't think he's a 2026 NBA guy. Like in the first round, he's not a first round pick. He's not a first round pick. No steals, no blocks, no dunks. Not shooting well. Not passing. He's not doing anything well. He should not be a first round pick. He has not performed like a first round pick. He just hasn't.
I agree with you. I agree. I just think he will be.
I can understand. I know what you're saying.
I understand what you're saying too, Leif.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
Why?
I'm saying he shouldn't be.
Which is what we're getting to. He shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, first round. Look, like I've been very critical of him since last year. Like I didn't like what I saw in high school, but he should be a first round pick based on the logic of if this guy can put on muscle mass. He's getting to the free throw line all the time, and he's been asked to do something that's difficult early in his career, whereas a lot of people that usually have that frame are like, oh, he's hitting a spot up 3. Like, Tennessee isn't well constructed. Tennessee the last 2 years have had, like, dudes with shoulders like boulders coming off pin downs and that can shoot the hell out of the ball. Like, you had Dalton Connect, and then he had the first step attack closedown could dunk on you, and then you had Chaz Lanier, and they're just really tough. Like, he's been asked to assume that role, except that's just not how he plays. So the thing about him, if I'm going to defend him, is he should be a better shooter. Is like the expectation, but he's been asked to do stuff that his archetype of player shouldn't, which is to put the ball on the deck and try to create. He's a spot up catch and shoot guy who's got size and fluidity that few have. And so I think you can still make him an NBA player and you fit that archetype as opposed to what he's been asked to do. And so I would still probably take a first round swing on him. That said, I'm very low on him. Like I don't like it. Whereas Wagler is very thin. Like Wagler, extremely thin, and he puts it all functionally together. And I respect that. But I would be appalled if he doesn't go in the first round and stays in the draft.
And why I made that face with Keaton Wagler, I actually just wrote an article on Keaton Wagler. Like that was my last article, not like probably like a week ago or so. But I like Keaton Wagler. My thing with him is I don't think he's a very good athlete. I just don't. I think he has no dunks, if I'm not mistaken. No dunks. His 2-point process is very, very concerning for me. His rim to non-rim two frequency is pretty much 1-to-1, meaning he can't get all the way to the rim a lot. And he's also not good on like the non-rim twos. His floaters haven't been going in, his mid-ranges haven't been efficient shot for him. He's not able to get to the rim enough for me. And he settles for too many mid-range shots. He's a really good shooter. He has really good feel. He's a really good passer. I think he's been Illinois' best player. Defensively, the numbers are good in terms of like his defensive field goal percentage. People aren't really scoring on him a lot. But he's not like a great he was a playmaker, I would say. So I would say that he's like a secondary ball handler almost that can really shoot, can really pass. But when he does get to the rim, he's finishing well. It's just not enough for me, and he's settling for too many mid-range twos, non-rim twos. I will have him as like a mid to late first round pick. Top 10, I can't get that high because his scoring process is not good enough right now. I think his athleticism is pretty bad. Like you can't be 6'6" and not have any dunks on the season. That's not great. Also, he is very ball screen reliant on it, because on his actual drives, he's not shooting well. I actually checked this not too long ago. He's shooting well from the rim on drives, but I mean, no, I'm sorry, in the pick and roll. But when he's actually driving, it hasn't been pretty this season. Let me actually look.
Leif, you make the argument, counter that argument for him for Keaton Wagler, why you think he's a top 10 to 15-ish guy.
Well, I think it's pretty natural a player of that sleight of frame wouldn't be necessarily the best finisher. Like I think it's difficult to be a good finisher when you're 6'6", like 170. I think him stopping short and shooting those mid ranges he has shot off the dribble pretty well. Like, yeah, his floater games could use some work, but when he comes off the screen, he finishes well because he uses his body, he uses angles well. He maximizes what he has, and I think he's a late bloomer. Like he just looks kind of elongated and young, and you kind of think with him the functionality of, yeah, he's not dunking the ball, but athletically he's getting rebounds. He's getting into passing lanes. He does all the intangible things that athletically you would say that's usually the marker of a good athlete. He's also, I haven't looked at the stats, so maybe I'm wrong on this, but my eyes tell me he's a good transition finisher. And that to me is a good marker of athleticism. Like I think he gets out and deflects the ball and he finishes. He plays cleverly and he maximizes stuff with his brain and his athletic attributes right now. And he is far from a finished product in terms of what his frame will be. I think, I mentioned Cody Williams, and that was more of a kind of an inside joke between James and I because we argued about him all the time a couple of years ago, which is like the only person James and I ever disagreed about. Like always same team. But I think if you look at their body types, Cody came into the NBA at 6'8", 178. Wagler's probably 6'6", 170. And he is so much more impactful to the game. Like, and at Colorado, I liked him. He had 10 points, 5 boards, 4 assists type of thing. And he'd have stretches where he'd take these long strides and get to the rim and finish it with authority, but the rest was shying away. Wagler throws himself in there on every play, on the offensive glass, the defensive glass, runs pick and roll, hits open threes. Like he does all the intangible things on a basketball court that impact winning. And if the gripe is that he's not a good enough finisher yet, I think that has to do with muscle mass and physical maturation. So I agree with you. He's not great there, and the eyes actually do support that. But I'm pretty confident in his ability to develop that stuff as he develops physically.
Yeah, I agree with you, Leif. He has the stuff that you can work with. Like if it's just he has to get stronger, then I can deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Versus like we don't have to worry about the toughness. We know he's a knockdown shooter and he's a very good passer. Him not having any dunks, I get the concern, but in a scaled down role in the NBA, if he's standing in the corner, it's going to, and he's probably gonna make it. You can run some secondary ball screen action with him. He's a very good passer, and he's going to compete on the glass. So I'm high on Wagler. I needed to see, and it's not just the one game. I was talking to Latif. I was like, I'm on the fence because he had some performances against some high major competition where he wasn't that good, but like going back and revisiting as I'm putting together my big board, which I keep delaying because it's just so many guys. It's so fluid, and I want to like Darius Acuff. Like I really want to make sure that I'm where I want to be on that one. Like Patrick Gung was another guy who like I see other guys who have him really really high, and then I'm like I'm not as high on him, but I do like him. So, but this was a very very good podcast, fellas. I got Latif Love, I got Leif Thulin. We're not the triangle offense. Let me see here. I still didn't think of a name. I have to think of one for the next time. We should probably do this again. Latif, where can they find you at?
Real Latif Love on Twitter. Lovemytakes.com on Substack.
What's your next article going to be about?
I want this to be a big board, but that's gonna take too long. I think I'm gonna do a Kingston Fleming article. It's again, there's so many guys kind of getting overwhelmed before I even do the work. That's what it feels like. Because I want to talk about Tyler Tanner. I want to talk about Dalen Swain. I need to talk about Patrick Ngomba. I need to talk about Darius Acuff. I haven't wrote an article about Haynes Steinbach. It's so many guys in this class that are intriguing and we only have like 4 months or so to do it. So I think next is gonna be Kingston Fleming though.
Leif, where can they find you at?
My Twitter's just my name right there, so it's LeiftHulin. If you got draft takes on there, I am more than happy to talk on there. And then I host a daily show, Locked on Wildcats, talking Arizona basketball. So Koa Pete, a couple other prospects on there as well. If you're just NBA draft guys, if you're college basketball guys, I'll be talking college hoops on there as well. And there's nothing I love more than college hoops.
All right, well, that concludes a lengthy episode. We covered a lot of guys. I am your host, James Barlow. This is the NBA Draft Junkies podcast, and we are out.